Welcome to Secrets of Stand-Up. I'm Rich Williams. I'm going to tell you everything I know about stand-up comedy so you can be a better comic. I make a video every day. It comes out at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I want you to fall in love with hosting. Fall in love with being an MC. There's several reasons why. If you have the opportunity, try to be the MC at an open mic. Even better, try to be the MC or the host of a showcase show. There's benefits to being a host of a 3-person traditional stand-up night at a comedy club, but I'm talking really specifically about open mics and showcases. Here's why. Let's say at an open mic there's 20 people going up. You do your set in the beginning. It's going to be harder in a way because you're going up there cold, but you can do a joke or two throughout the night when you're bringing up the other comics. Same with a showcase. You do your set, you're going up cold. Sometimes it's a little bit better because they're excited, they're there. You're the very first person. But it's usually harder because you have to crack them open as an audience. You can work jokes in between the other acts. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to make the whole show about you. But if one comic kills, you may need to reset the room by doing a bit. If one comic bombs, you may need to do a bit to reset the room. And resetting the room is to make the audience forget about everything that just happened so that the next comic going up has a blank slate where they can just go up and focus on performing. They don't have to address anything. And also, it's not hard for them to follow the last comic. By doing a joke or two, let's say there's 20 comics. You do your act, then you bring up the first few comics, then you do a bit. You do a couple jokes. There's no pressure on you. They already like you. They're already familiar with you. You don't have to sandwich that joke in between your opener and your closer. You can just kind of throw it out there. See if it works. It's a great, great way to test material. And that's what you should be doing in those moments, unless you have to really win them back for the overall show. Then you should do something really strong. But use those opportunities. And don't just come up with something in the moment unless you're working on that particular skill where you need to be quick on your feet and you want to make a comment about something that just happened. That's fine. But use that time to work on new bits. There's no pressure on you. You throw it out there, you look back at your recording. Did it work? Did it not work? Boom. Another thing you'll learn from being a host is how to be likable. You're the glue that is holding this whole show together when it's a showcase or an open mic. You're the relief for them. You're the one that's familiar. So it forces you to be likable to them. You have to charm them to some degree. When you're just going up and doing a set, you don't have to face that same audience again. When you're the host, you have to face them again and again and again. Being likable is super important as a comic, especially if you're talking about material that would normally be off-putting to crowds. Daniel Tosh is one of those comics. Anthony Jeselnik. If you just read out Anthony Jeselnik's jokes, you'd be like, oh my God. But he pulls it off because despite what he's talking about, he's likable. Host and MC because you will learn that skill. It's really effective for you. Another reason why you should do it, you're going to make more connections. You're going to be interacting with everybody on the show. They're going to give you their intros. If you do a good job setting them up to succeed, they're going to like you. That's important. Not everybody's going to like you. You're going to deal with some detractors, but it's important to be highly regarded with your peers because they're going to give you a lot of your first opportunities and even opportunities later on in your career. So it gets you ingrained in your local scene a whole lot more. And especially if you're out in LA or New York City or now Austin, Texas, and Boston and San Francisco, all the traditional markets. You don't want to host too often. You don't want to be seen as just a host, because that's, in America at least, that's the lowest position on the totem pole for a 3-person show. In Canada, and I don't know if they still do this, but I heard that the host was super important. Basically, the host was like the headliner, because the host is up there throughout the show, and the feature act was considered lowest on the totem pole, and for good reason, because that's the easiest slot. The crowd's already warmed up. The whole weight of the show is not on your shoulders like it is for the headliner. So a good host can really make the show a success. But in America, it's not seen. I mean, it pays the least, and you don't want to just be seen as a good host. Have that as one of the roles you can play. And that's the final reason. There's so many opportunities to be a host or a master of ceremonies in the corporate world, in all kinds of private gigs where you can go up and make a lot of money and not have to have an hour of material. You can go out there and MC a charity benefit. You can be the host of a corporate Christmas party where they give out awards, all of that. There's a thriving market in that. Of course, you have to be clean, you have to follow their rules, but you should try to do that anyways when you're a host. I was never a good host because I like to talk about dark topics. Even if I don't swear, I like to talk about taboo subjects. I like to almost create an adversarial relationship between myself and the audience. I'm very likable on stage, but you can't go up as the very first comic on the show and talk about your parents dying. It's just not, it doesn't set the mood. So I wish it was a skill I was better at, and I might try to work on it just so I have another, it's like improving your game as a basketball player. I want to make sure I can shoot the free throws and have the 17-foot jumper. Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm not a basketball guy. I'm a football and boxing guy. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons to host. And if you want to be a better comic, really explore it. But then I'll have to stay for the whole open mic. You should stay for the whole open mic anyways. Support your friends. Support fellow comics. Try hosting as much as you can. Get great at it. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow.